Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub, local craft beer, old school fun, memorable moments. Welcome to Talkin Cougars. I am Michael Bumpus with my guy Alex Brink. As usual, the Cougs, man, we're in a slump right now. It is getting tough for us, but you know what? We will keep fighting. We lost 42-39 to Cal Berkeley. But you know what, Brink? I ain't giving up yet, man. Come on, keep fighting.
Can't give up, man. It's not the way of the Cougs. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to find a way to get a win on Friday versus the Colorado Buffaloes. But right now, it's time for our opening drive, brought to you by Valley Buick GMC. See you in the Valley. Bump. Cougs are finding all sorts of different ways to lose football games. At times, the defense looked great last Saturday versus Cal. The offense had its moments, but 4 turnovers is not going to get it done, and 2 of those fumbles that went for touchdowns. You can't spot a team 14 points in this league off turnovers and expect to win. It's just not going to happen. There were a few bright spots. Running game came out of nowhere with a couple of young running backs. Brennan Jackson and RJ Stone were back with a vengeance, getting after the quarterback. But in the end, the Bears were just too much on the road with the turnovers and a quality running game.
Yeah, man. Run game got a $125 on our end, but on the other side, you got a $150. And then you talk about the turnovers, man. When you are a team that's struggling to figure things out, right, to find a way to beat teams, you cannot turn the football over. We got Cam Ward with 3 fumbles lost. And yeah, as soon as I saw the tush push be failed and the team get points off of it, I knew that it was going to be a rough game. But honestly, Cal Berkeley, man, they're the team in the Pac-12 right now that you just can't sleep on. You did have some bright spots. Kelly had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Lincoln Vector was still productive as well. But at the end of the day, you got to provide some stops, and you cannot turn the football over. So I really want to see how this team responds, man. We were on top of the world, right, a month and a half ago. And now we're trying to figure out if we're going to be bowl eligible. So we'll see what this team is made of here pretty soon.
To be fair, too, this team in-game responded pretty well. Went down 14-0 right off the bat and probably had every reason to fold, right, after losing 5 straight games. And I thought they did a heck of a job. You know, the leaders and the guys, they're trying to find a way to claw back into it. Like I mentioned, you know, those guys on defense, those veterans finding a way. Cam Ward, I thought, you know, played pretty well other than obviously the fumbles, but, you know, was delivering the football for the most part. And it just, in the end, this, you know, the Cal Bears team you mentioned, a little bit like Arizona, right? Like these teams keep getting better as Washington State gets ready to play them. Hopefully, again, when you look ahead to Friday night, you're playing a Colorado team that's been on a little bit of a slide. But in the end, what you realize in the Pac-12 this year is there's just no easy outs. Like you're always going to play a good football team, and you're going to have to play good complementary football, and you're going to have to make sure that you protect the football. And that's just something Washington State hasn't done for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, they haven't. And, you know, you're not going to win games if you lose a turnover battle, especially when the guy who handles the rock most of the time, the quarterback, is fumbling the football. But, you know what, you're right, man. Cam Ward is the reason why this team is still in these games, though, right? You can point out all the flaws and what's going on there and how you haven't been able to run the football, but then you're able to run the football. It all comes down to Cam Ward, and he's keeping this team in the game. He's distributing the football around. You might have found a run game. That's the thing that gets me excited, is that you might have found a run game, and you're playing a team next week in Colorado who can't protect their quarterback. So it's going to be a battle of who's going to be more efficient. And I think that's what the Cougs need to focus on. Be efficient, take care of the football, be where you're supposed to be, and just play fundamental football. Easier said than done, right? You still got to go out there and play these games. But I think you simplify the game plan for Wazoo and you'll be all right.
Totally agree. And you mentioned those young running backs. I mean, Leo Pulalasi, the true freshman, Jovensky, Schlembaker, they both had really bright spots. Coach Dicker mentioned to me after the game, Pulalasi might have pulled his hamstring. We'll see if he's able to go this week. But you got to feel good as you look in the future that Washington State might have some young backs that can be productive, so you don't have another year like this where you're so ineffective running the football. So, you know, for Washington State, a lot of this is kind of trying to salvage this back half of the season. 2 wins gets you in a bowl game. But more importantly, you're trying to figure out who is on this roster that's going to be productive for you as you move forward, right, into next year and the years ahead.
All right, so let's be real. The goals have changed now for this team, right? You're 13 in the country at some point, and now you have struggled, but there's still something that you can do. You can win this game on Friday against Colorado. You know the nation's going to be watching, and also you can win an Apple Cup. We've been there before. You and I, 3-1 in the Apple Cup. All right, but let's take care of Colorado first. So there are some things that that this team can still accomplish, and I think that you just change your goals. Coming up next, man, we're going to talk to my boy Billy Newman, former Coug football player, and now he's on the pre and the post. That's next. Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Let's take a look at our Coug Spotlight presented by Coug First. Think Coug First for products, services, and hiring. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to Talkin Cougars. This is our Cougar Spotlight, and now I'm joined by my friend Billy Newman, played for the Cougs back in the 90s, late 90s, and now he's on the pre and the post game show, man. Billy, I appreciate you taking time out of your day and hollering at me, man.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. And I just want to say, hey, congrats to you. All the success you've had. Everybody loves what you're doing. You're doing big things, man. We're proud of you.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Coug love all day. That's what we do, man. And
You know it.
unfortunately, we got to rely on that love. The last 6 weeks, man, it's been rough for us, man. And recently, the Cougs go to University or Cal Berkeley, and they don't get it done. And the things that stuck out to me are just the two main turnovers, right? Obviously, Cam Ward fumbles the ball 3 times, but the brotherly shove, that was a scoop and score, and then another fumble, that was a scoop and score. When you look at just how this team has been performing as of late, what's the vibe, man? You're around the team. What are you feeling with them?
Yeah, well, I would say that, from a distance, it's just the Cal game was kind of a microcosm of how the season's gone, right? I mean, there was just the ups and the downs, and there's just so many different emotions that are streaming through you. You're feeling good, you feel like, all right, we got a shot. Okay, we're gonna win. We're coming back. Here we come. And then all of a sudden, another play happens, and it kind of lets you down. And there's just it's just been a weird season. And that game there were some freakish things that happened, and I think you could play 150, 200 games, and maybe one of those will happen, let alone two of those happening in the same game.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And with all the craziness that's gone down over the past few weeks, there's one thing that's still true is Cam Ward is one of the best passers in the game. Washington State in general is top 5 in the country when it comes to passing yards per game. But if you want to throw the ball, you got to be able to run that thing too, and that's something that we haven't seen. Last game, these guys go over 100 yards, but we're just not getting that steady dose of a running back who's able to get north and south and get that money, man. When it comes to the run game, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Like, I'm kind of old school in my approach. You got to be able to run the football, and to me, that's why football is such a beautiful game. To me, it's like this perfect combination of art and war, and the running game really, really exemplifies that. And if you don't have the offensive line, you don't have your receivers, you don't have the running back and the quarterback all on the same page, it's just not going to happen for you. You got to have everybody, performing together, doing their job, and running backs are so good these days. You give them a little crease, they should be able to hit it. And we need to me, and this is just maybe my personal preference, I like a guy who's going to go downhill. Like,
Yeah.
we had Borgie a few years ago and McIntosh a few years ago. And I know a lot of people really enjoyed watching Borgie run. But to me, you give McIntosh the ball because you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy who's running hard and who's going to get you 5 yards every time. And, to me, that's the kind of style I'd like to see. And I'm not really seeing that right now.
I'm with you. All right, so now we got all the bad out the way, right? Okay. So now let's focus on this week. You got Colorado coming into town, Coach Prime, Shedeur Sanders. The Buffs are a national brand now, it feels like. I'm excited, man. I want to see what this game is all about. I want to see what the hype is all about. What are you looking forward to most with this matchup this weekend?
Well, I think what makes college football fans, so intense is that every game matters, right? And it seems like for us, we've got to the point where this game really matters for a lot of different reasons. One, we've got to get it if we want to get to bowl eligibility. We got to have that. But for me, I think as the season has gone along, we've gone through this stretch where it just hasn't gone our way. To me, it's like, let's figure out how to get back to basics. Let's figure out how to really get better. And let's not make it about winning, right? Let's not put that pressure on us. Let's make this about an opportunity for us to go out and get better and learn. Because I think at the end of the year, when we kind of reflect back, we're going to say, well, what are the takeaways? This really isn't about Coach Prime. It's not about Colorado. This game needs to be 100% about WSU and this team and how we can come together and just execute play after play after play. And that starts with the coaching staff, right? To me, yeah, we're in the top 5 in passing, but I don't know that, I don't know that anybody from top to bottom, player or coach, can say, this is the best performance I have. I think we can all learn and grow from it. And just don't worry about the win. Just go out and get better.
We will continue our conversation after this. Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Continuing our conversation, the Buffs are going to bring everything, right? They're going to bring the glitz, the glamour. Coach Prime's going to be on the sideline with the shades on. I mean, it's just a whole different approach. And it's going to be funny to see because you look at WSU, it's such a blue-collar program. Just keep your head down, go to work every day. And then you bring in Colorado that's kind of taking on a life of its own. As a player, man, how would you eliminate those distractions? Because they're going to be there, right? The hype's going to be there. What does Billy Newman do?
Well, I think you have to put social media away, right? I think you can't make it about anything outside of that locker room. It's got to be all about what we do and who we are, and from there, it's what's the mental preparation. I know that players today they watch film, but I think it's probably a little bit different in the sense that these offenses are they're just so creative. It makes it a little tougher to identify what route is coming, what based on a formation. Where when I was playing, that's it was pretty obvious what was coming. And I think if you studied long and hard, you could do that. But I'm kind of going to contradict myself. I think you have to get into the film room and just feel confident that you can stop whatever they're doing, right? Like whatever defense I'm in, this is how I stop it. It doesn't matter what my defense is. I have a plan of attack, and I know where you want to go with the ball.
Emotions are going to be high too, right? You got 2 quarterbacks who want to throw the ball all across the yard as well. What type of game do you think this needs to be? Do you think that the Cougs can go shot for shot, or do you feel like they're going to have to slow this game down and kind of dictate the tempo?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a shootout. I don't know how the hardest thing that I've ever had to do is stop a running quarterback or a quarterback who could run. I think they just present a different dynamic to the game, and I love watching the mobile quarterbacks. So I don't know how you stop it. So I think our offense is going to have to be in situations where they don't have those negative plays. I think negative plays have really hurt us, taking a big sack when we can't afford to take a big sack. We have to, and that has to come from the coaching staff. I think one of the things we've seen over the course of the year is that Cam can be creative, but I would say it's 50-50 results, right? He'll make a great play and he'll save the day, and you'll think, no, yes, great job. That's exactly what I wanted you to do. And then you're like, oh, and you just want to shake your head and bury your head. So to me, put them in situations where 3-step, the ball is coming out. 1 read, 2 reads, and now I'm getting positive yards. I appreciate what he brings with his scrambling ability, but man, I don't care about a big 50-yard play. What I care about is getting first downs and keeping the other team off the field. That's the approach that we need to take as far as I'm concerned.
Time for Talking Numbers, presented by Cross Country Mortgage, making every mortgage feel like a win. I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to say final score 42-35, the Cougs. What you got?
Yeah, I think we're both in that same kind of ballpark. I actually think it's probably going to be a little higher scoring than that, and I'm going to
Okay.
say 49-45.
49-45. I like that. As long as the Cougs are on top,
Cougs,
I'm good.
come on now. Yeah,
I'm
Cougs.
good. Hey, Billy, where else can the people find you, man? What are you doing?
I'm actually working in heavy equipment industry right now. I've been in manufacturing most of my career. I really enjoy manufacturing. It's one of those fields. I think there's a close correlation between athletics and manufacturing, and that everybody is working towards a certain goal. I think there's a place for everybody in manufacturing, just like in football. I think there's a place for everybody, right? And at the end of the day, we're all working towards a tangible result. So I really enjoy the manufacturing side. I've been on the product support side in heavy equipment for a few years, and I enjoy that. To me, at this stage of my career, it's really about the people you work with, and if you enjoy the people you work with, I think you're successful. So
I'm with you. Billy Newman in the manufacturing game, pre and post for the Cougs. Billy, man, I appreciate your time, bro. I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon, brother. Go Cougs.
More Talking Cougars after the break.
Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub.
Hey Cougs, the new Wazoo sideline gear is dropping this Friday. Can't wait to see you all at Kisa Field. Let's send these seniors out with a win. Go Cougs!
Time now for our best bet, brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino, largest casino in the Northwest. Bump, at this point in the season, after losing 6 straight, everything kind of feels like a crapshoot. I tell you what, it's hard to imagine, Washington State playing at home, losing to this Colorado Buffalo team, but this is a talented group. Deion Sanders has obviously remade this roster, got off to a hot start, and his son, Shedeur Sanders, at quarterback, can really pull the trigger, but they have some flaws. There's no doubt about it. They are the only team in the pack that's worse at running the football than the Washington State Cougars. They average less than 70 yards rushing. So Washington State's defense doesn't really have to worry about that like they have had to the last few weeks. And Washington State's secondary, I would think, matches up pretty well on the back end in general, but you probably got to get Shaw Smith-Wade back at the corner position, who's been hurt. Either way, this feels like a good matchup for Washington State. You just never know, though.
Yeah, man, it's the battle of the 4 and 6s, right? Teams that started the season so hot with high expectations, and now you are here. So what I'm looking forward to seeing is what type of pressure can they get to Shedeur Sanders. He's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in all of college football for a reason. They're going to throw the football. They will try to run it as well. But this Colorado offense goes as Shedeur Sanders goes. So what I'm looking for is RJ and Brennan. Can you get after this guy and make life difficult for him? You got Travis Hunter over there as well. He'll play offense. He'll play some defense. How can you match up there? But I like this matchup. These guys are coming into the Palouse. Okay, they're down just like we are. It's a battle of who's going to be more efficient. Like I said earlier, who is going to take care of the football. What I appreciate about this matchup is that you have two coaches trying to figure it out. You got Deion Sanders, prime. All this hype, making money for Colorado. You start off hot, now you got to coach your guys. You got Jake Dickert on our side. He's been there, he's done that. He's coached great offenses, great defenses. What is he going to tap into to get these guys going again? If we just look at the coaching battle, I'm going to take our guy at WSU.
It's interesting you talk about kind of how these guys get going, how do the coaches get these players going. It's interesting for Washington State because, again, after this losing streak and everything going on, I get asked a lot kind of, what are the players like? Are they shutting it down? Where's their mindset at? The reality is the players don't think like that, right? They're ready to go play ball. More importantly, when you're playing Colorado after all the hype and everything with Deion Sanders as the head coach, right, it almost gets the guys more excited. They're probably fired up to play this game, partly because of that, not just because they get to go play and it's senior night and all that, but you do get Colorado in a primetime game on Friday night, and you get a chance to make a statement again, no matter what the records are, because the hype is still there.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, this is a measuring stick, right? Because I feel like both of these programs eventually are going to be pretty good in this wherever they are. For Wazoo, you know, we have some different challenges, but eventually these guys are going to be good. So this is what you put on film. Like, what type of team are you going to be as coaches? How are you going to coach these guys? How are you going to support them if you are the Coug fans who are going to show up at this game? And no matter how you put it, yes, it's two teams playing at 4 and 6. When Deion Sanders comes into town, the lights are going to be a bit brighter and guys are going to play hard.
Man, this is an elite matchup of quarterbacks when you talk about what Cam Ward's done this year. Obviously, you know, one of the top passers in the country, Shedeur Sanders, is the same way. The production for both these guys is incredible. Sanders is almost 70%. Cam's over 67%. They're both well over 3,000 yards passing. And, I mean, for both of them, are the guys that stir the drink for their offenses and really for their team, right? As Sanders goes, Colorado goes. As Cam Ward goes, Washington State goes. So that's the matchup we got to look at, right? Who's going to come in? Who's going to be electric? Who's going to make the big plays? And who's going to protect the football? Because both those guys, right, have got to focus on that, particularly Cam Ward coming off, you know, that Cal game.
All right, man. Prime time. Prime is going to be in the building. It should be a big one, man. That's Talkin Cougars, man. We're getting ready for this Colorado game. I am Michael Bumpus. You can find me on Michael Bumpus5 on Twitter, Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 p.m. on Seattle Sports. I'll be on the 1s and 2s. Also, Pac-12 Network on the weekends, and on Sundays, some NFL work with the Seattle Seahawks.
I'm Alex Brink. You can find me on Twitter at AlexBrink10. I'll be on the radio call with Matt Chasnow and Jessamine McIntyre this Friday night against the Buffs, and I'm excited to watch senior night. It's going to be fun to honor those seniors one way or the other. Thanks for tuning in. Go Cougs.